Good morning. I made a post last night, just this quick picture and a very brief poem about loneliness, and a lot of people responded, that they were having that experience really close to that moment. So it seems that maybe there's something in the air, and I wanted to say hello and check in afterwards. Because this morning the storm has passed. I'm having my morning coffee and I'm sitting on my porch, as I do when it's nice this time of year, and enjoying the first rays of sunlight. And I think it would be nice just to speak of it because so many resonated. We are living in a way that we're not designed to. The busyness and the isolation, and even when we're surrounded by people, loneliness is not having a lot of people around us. It's not having a lot to do. Like, the solution to it, the solution to loneliness is deep connection, and finding that deep connection within ourselves. But it's not all an inside job. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves with pop psychology and modernized spirituality, that we're supposed to be able to come to this state of completion simply within ourselves all the time, and that's not how we're designed. It's not how we're wired. So if you're experiencing that deep loneliness and that sense of longing, yes, go within and lean into it, because there are parts and elements and aspects of self and source creation within us that can fill us and fulfill us. And we are meant to be in connection and community. We are biologically and neurologically wired and designed for it. So even as you're going in and riding the storm, I did a wise thing for myself. I took a picture. I posted a little snippet of a poem of loneliness, and I then put my phone down and I drank my wine and I cried and I watched the sun go down out my window, and it spent itself, as a storm will do. The storm, it spent itself. And this morning waking up, there's a cleanliness, as if, I've been rained on and through, but there's still a sense that something is missing. And I think that this is true for a lot of us, and I think a lot of us, are still recovering, and we're still recovering as a collective and a society from the last few years of having been forced to isolate and having this unnatural fear and paranoia installed in us about our friends and our neighbors and our family and each other and even ourselves, right? And we're still recovering from that. And not only are we recovering from that, we're dealing with the loss of tribe. We're dealing with the loss of community. We're dealing with the way that once upon a time we would wake up and we would see the same faces every day, and we would talk with them, and we would eat with them, and we would dance with them, and maybe we make love with them. But we're both more connected and less connected than we've ever been. We have the internet, we have all of these friendships that are spread out across the globe. I myself, I have a global practice, and yet I see very few people on a frequent basis who I actually know and recognize and resonate with. And the sad thing about the way our society is structured is that, to a large degree, like, the most of us, we just barely have the time for ourselves, for our spouses, for our work, for our family, So getting together with friends, creating community events is something that's hard. We have to like make plans. We don't rarely drop by for coffee anymore. And for a lot of people, if you want to get that sense of community and connection, I'm thinking about this and I'm going to do this later today, to go out and like interact with the world, it requires that we spend money as well. It's like, okay, if I want to go out and have a cup of coffee and see faces and do all of this, it's going to cost me money to do so. Otherwise, I have to, form plans and try to corral everybody through the busyness and the stress. And this isn't the way that we lived even like 10 years ago, So we're still adjusting to, busyness, like isolation, induced by busyness, not just recent circumstances. And it's hard, our ecosystem's changing. There's fewer bugs, there's fewer dragonflies on the pond, there's less natural noise, there's more manufactured noise, there's less natural noise. These are all things that we're still adjusting to. And then under that and within that and deeper than that and connecting to all of that is our innate longing for the numinous. And some of us relate to that so much more strongly than others. That's a deep one for me. That's a big one for me. And I have to remind myself over and over that when we crave, when we long, when we ache for the numinous, that nothing else serves as a substitute. The thing that we crave, the numinous, that nothing else can actually become that. So we have to go within, we have to go into nature, and we have to find it, we have to look for it, but we also have to see it in each other. But we also have to remember at the same time, if you're a mystic, if you're a numinous craver, you crave the numinous, longing for that the mystery, that nothing else can actually supplant that either. So those are my thoughts on loneliness and longing. I also had the inspiration last night that I'm going to create a little webinar on sacred longing and how to be with it and how to move through it. And I'll be putting that up and getting that offer out to everyone soon. So thank you for being a part of my world. If you yourself are looking for support, you can find me at sensesandsymbols.com. You can message me anytime. As an intuitive cognitive sculptor, I guide people through what's in themselves, and help them alchemize it. It's an ongoing journey, eh? Lots of love to everybody, and take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.